Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Joshua De La Victoria. I'm a guitarist based in Southern California. I thought this would just be a fun little quick Instagram Q&A video. So I'm gonna pick some questions that I liked or that I wanted to talk about and put my answers here on YouTube. I'm gonna be playing a bunch of shows soon, so I kind of also wanted to take this opportunity to promote that a little bit. I'm going to be playing a small West Coast run with a bunch of friends and their Latin pop group called Missionaries. So that's gonna be this weekend, actually. It's San Diego and then Las Vegas and then Anaheim. And these are all huge stadiums. So this is gonna be by far the largest shows that I've ever played. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then immediately after that, I'm flying to Montreal to play a small intimate show with my bandmate Joseph Anager with our band Portraits. And that's gonna be live at a music studio. So it's going to be a small group of people. We're going to be filming and recording the whole set. And so if you're able to come to that and you live in Montreal, it's going to be a very, very cool experience. And we have our friend Northern opening up for us. After that, pretty much all of July, I'm going to be out in Europe with the Sungazer guys. So with Adam Neely, Sean Crowder, Jared E. We're going to be playing a bunch of different jazz festivals. So also if you're in Europe, come to a show. So yeah, I'm just going to hop into these questions and answer them best I can. Favorite amp/presets on the Quad Cortex. I tend to love anything that's like an AC30 style amp. The one in the Quad Cortex that I absolutely love is the Matchless DC30 model. This is made by Neural, so it's not a capture. It's actually made by them. It's a full amp model where you can adjust all the parameters. So that's like one of the main amps that I use. I switch between that one for like all my lead tones and like edge of breakup kind of tones. And then if I want something heavier or a bit more djenty, I'll usually use a Friedman. I think they have like the Friedman Lead 100 amp model in there. That's kind of what I use for rhythms and tighter, heavier things. But then for everything else, I'm using the Matchless DC30. I find that it adds like this chime to the high end, and like when you dig in, it just compresses in a way that I really love. So yeah. How was your time in Oklahoma? Oklahoma was really cool. I was just in Oklahoma last weekend with Sungazer, and we did this Jazz in June festival. It was a really cool experience. It's like this big free festival that a lot of families go to, and it's all jazz music in the middle of Oklahoma. It was very hot, but it was all at night, so it kind of cooled down by then. But it was just a really cool experience, and it was really fun to see all the younger people in the crowd were really into it and having a lot of fun. Explain your writing process for Chronostasis. What came first, riffs or the beats? I had the concept of these polyrhythms switching back and forth, and I actually wrote it to a different set of chords and songs. So like I wrote this already, and then Matt recorded some demo drums to it. And I just kind of wasn't really feeling it. It was like, I didn't really know where to take it. So I ended up just deleting all the guitar parts, keeping the drums, and then rewriting the guitar to what is now Chronostasis. And then after the demo was finished, we re-recorded the drums in a studio, and I re-recorded all the guitars again. And then that's the final song. So it's a bit of a long process, but I think it's definitely worth it to kind of have these different versions and like multiple demos to finally get to the final song, because like everything informs the next piece. So it's really cool to see the song progress in that way. I get this question a lot, so I'll just answer it real quick. What camera/lens do I use? This is a Sony a7 IV, and the lens I'm using is a Sigma 35mm 1.4. I chose this camera because I needed something that can do both photo and video fairly well, and I found that this was probably the best hybrid camera. There's definitely cameras that can take photos better, and there's cameras that can take video better, but to do both in the same body, I just feel like this is my personal favorite. And I mean, I love the results, and it seems like a lot of people really like how all my videos look, so yes. But another tip real quick, like the camera and lens is not the most important thing to getting video to look good. Really, I think the most important thing is lighting. So like right now, I have this huge window next to me giving me all this soft, natural light. And that's kind of why this video looks the way it does. It's not really too much to do with the camera. It does have a little bit to do with the camera for sure, but most of it, the look, I think is coming from this light. Favorite Neural plugin? Okay, I love the Mateus Asato Neural plugin. It's by far my favorite plugin they've ever made. It's the plugin that I use the most for guitar tones. It has every amp in that plugin. It's exactly the style of amps that I like. That is what I'm using 99% of the time. The only times I'm not using that is if I want like a heavier metal tone. It's the default for me right now. It's kind of what I'm using 99% of the time. Good job, Neural. How to break out of these dang scale boxes. The best way that I've found is to start combining the boxes, right? So if you have like, I don't know, 5th position, combine the 5th position with the 4th position and the 6th position and turn it into one huge position. My goal with that is I'm trying to visualize more of the fretboard all at once. So instead of just thinking about this little box, I'm now expanding the box into a bigger section of the fretboard. What this means though is if you play all this in order, there's going to be repeating notes, but that's like completely fine. So I'll practice the scale as like 5-note per string scales with all the repeating notes. I found that just really helped me break out of boxes. And then like when you start visualizing all of that as a single position instead of 3 individual positions, you just have like way more freedom and wide intervals to choose from. And like, it's more, to me, it feels more expressive. And then I guess I'll answer one last question. How do you know when you're satisfied with the song? I'm gonna assume you mean like how do I know when I'm done with the song? It's never ending, right? Like I could always be adding more stuff. I think I know when I'm done when I feel like adding more things doesn't change the song. I try to like take my time and go pretty deep in the production of music. At a certain point when you start doing stuff, you're really not adding any more things. You're just kind of like, I don't know, introducing new issues instead of creating music. So I don't think there's like a fine line when things are finished or when I'm satisfied with the song, but you have to feel it, and you have to kind of just make that judgment call and be like, okay, this is done. Now it needs to go get mixed. I don't really mix my own music, so I have to like find this moment when I'm like, okay, I'm done. I just need to cut myself off and send it to the mixing engineer. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little quick Instagram Q&A thing. You can find me on Instagram. It's @JoshDela. And my website is joshuadelavictoria.com. Try to come to a show if you're around any of the places that I'm playing. It's going to be a very intense summer of traveling for me. So it'd be fun to interact with anyone that's watching this. Cool. All right. See you guys.